The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
But crude and gold have both traded very well today. Natural gas traded well for us today. NASDAQ traded well. The ES has just been really a stickler. It's pushing a little bit of resistance here. If it can get above, if the ES can break above this 87 quarter, it'll go get that target. It's 2 ticks to that first target. David, I really like that 20 range. It's today. Ted was a little choppy on the ES for the bot, but not in crude. I'll show you what crude's done. This actually hit first target and didn't fill. Crude was up 1370 today. Not when we closed the room, but I've run it. There you go. First target's filled. When I close the, hey David, when I closed the room, crude was up nicely, but I've let it run all day because of the volatility today in crude. Those of you guys that know me, and many of you in the room do, know that I don't really trade the ES. I don't like it. I've never liked it, and consequently, I don't trade it much. All right, fellas. So here's what I'm going to do. The webinar is going to be recorded. I've got about half of those that signed up for the webinar are in the room, and we'll start with the webinar. Once again, I want to thank y'all for coming in. For those of you that have not seen this bot, let me tell you what it is. It is a fully functional, fully auto executing robot. Okay. This is the only one that I'm aware of that operates on the methodology that this does. So for those of you guys that know me know that I have taught order flow for a number of years. I rely on Delta, and I trade in the direction of the move. I am not a rejection trader. Some of you guys will buy down moves. You'll sell up moves. I do not buy a down move. I can't say I never do, but I rarely do. And I rarely sell up moves. My methodology and the style in which I trade is to trade in the direction of the trend, right? Now, what defines trend? Trend on a 60-minute chart may not be the same as trend on a 5-minute chart, right? So you can see in this particular instance with the ES, it happens to be on a 987 tick chart. So it's a fairly small time frame. This indicator is measuring, or this bot is measuring delta, which I don't have on this chart. I have a number of time frames. So for instance, I'll show you. This is also the ES that I watch on a 5-minute. Now today it took no trades on a 5-minute chart, but I'm watching delta here in the lower part of it on the 5-minute, so as not to clutter the smaller time frame charts. So it's measuring delta and it's measuring moving averages across multiple time frames. There is no other bot that I'm aware of that does the same thing. So if I'm trading this, I'm going to turn the trail off. I'm not going to leave it at stop, and I'm going to go to break even. In any event, what you'll notice is in the left-hand corner, up here in this left-hand corner, I have 4 time frames. Okay? A 500 tick, a 750 tick, a 3-minute, and a 5-minute. This indicator will actually execute trades based on the parameters that you ask it to. Meaning, I currently have it set in the right-hand corner over here on the chart trader for trend only. Trend only is defined by me as monitoring merely 2 of these time frames. You'll notice that the 2 time frames that I'm asking it to trade in agreement with are green. You'll notice I have background confirmation. Consequently, when the average is crossed here, I know that on the 500 tick and the 750 tick, I have 2 things in my favor. I have delta, so I have buyers, and I know that the moving averages are green on these time frames, which is where the trade fires here. Okay? I can ask it to monitor up to 4 time frames. Now, the more time frames that you ask it to monitor, the fewer trades you're going to get. Now, for instance, if I were going to do 4 time frames on the 987 tick, I surely would not use a 3 and a 5-minute, right? I'm merely using the 3 and the 5-minute as a visual reference to let me know that the bigger time frames are actually down. At least the 3 and the 5-minute are, okay? So again, this indicator slash bot, and the reason I say indicator slash bot is it can be used both manually and automatically, meaning if you don't want to run this thing in auto mode and you don't want it to simply take trades, you can manually execute the trades based on the signals if you wish. So today when we left the room, the ES was down $712. It's the only instrument that was down in the day. Everything else was green. It's now back to 0. I've run it all day and I'll leave it on. See if we get any more trades. So it's gotten back the deficit, but in any event, the NASDAQ, which is typically my favorite chart to trade, I am running a 15 range here. I'm asking it to monitor against a 1-minute and a 1.5-minute time frame. This is valid for minute or time-based, seconds, tick, range, and volume. So depending on the chart you trade, you would have corresponding settings. The indicator also operates by setting stops and targets. So some of the areas that traders typically have an issue is not only when to execute a trade, right? Even if they can identify it, many traders have a hard time actually executing a trade. But it also sets the stops and the targets. They are not predefined stops and targets. So the indicator is or the bot is actually factoring in current volatility and it's using ATR to do that. So average true range. And then we're using a multiple of average true range to define targets and stops. There are several other settings in this indicator which you can use. For instance, there's time settings. If you want to set it to automatically turn on and off at certain times, you can. If you are going to run it in abstention, you're not there, you can put in a daily goal and a daily loss. If it hits one of those numbers, it shuts itself off. We'll no longer trade. So this is going to give us a short here. This is getting ready to fire a short. You can see it says new short ready. Okay? We should get a trade here. The trail dots are also using a variable or a multiple of average true range. You do have to use an ATM setting. I don't know why this is set for 2. You do have to use an ATM. No, I just changed it, David. I just changed it. You have to use an ATM setting. You have to tell the indicator how many targets or how many contracts off at target 1, target 2, and so on. Okay? This is a 1 by 1 by 1. So it'll put one target at target 1, one contract at target 2, and then one well out of the way, and we'll let it auto trail should it come down. This is a fully hands-off bot. You merely need to turn it on and turn it off. So let me show you and explain the higher time frames. We'll go back to this morning, okay? So here's the opening of the market. Well, you can do whatever you can trade it as you want, David. You see this long here, guys? That trade would not fire. Would not take that long. Why? Because one or more of these time frames are incongruent. I'm still red on time frames, and I've asked it to trade trend only. So this long is a counter trend trade relative to the time frames that I'm asking it to monitor. Will not take that trade. Now it does take this trade. You can see I have background biases green. I know that my time frames are congruent. If I go to the hard right edge, right? My time frames are congruent. Both targets hit. Target 1, target 2. It takes this short. Right? I take a short against a red background. I have background confirmation, or I have time frame confirmation, and we only get target 1. Okay. Depending on how you trade it, your entry is here at 61.75. It takes your runner out at 65. Now, those of you guys that know me know that I typically go to break even, right? I put the auto trail on once first target is hit. I don't trade generally with it on. I put it on once it's been hit, then it just filled a short. And you can see it auto set targets. And then I generally will go to break even. When I see the retracement, I'm at break even already. Okay? Now again, because it's a fully functional bot, you do not lose your ability to control the trade, right? If at any point you want to close the trade, or at any point you want out of the trade, you can hit close. You can still manually adjust your targets. If you want to pick up a target and move it, you can do that. There's a long here. I see it's a winning trade, but it's trading in opposite of what I'm asking it to trade against. We want to be trading in the direction of the trade, right? So it takes that short. You got 2 trades, 2 winners. It does not take that long. It will not take this short. Will not take that short. And here we are now currently in shorts. It does not take that long. Again, background and the time frames that you're asking it to monitor are incongruent. So here's a trade that fires. This would be the third trade of the day on the 15 range. Fires your short here. And it's almost a first target. We do have sellers. I'm watching Delta on my 3-minute chart in the upper right-hand corner. I've got sellers. So again, some of the guys will ask, well, what if I want to take the trade off? Yeah, you can. You can. There's first target to the tick and filled. I can't tell you that, Payment. Hey, David. No, wouldn't take that buy. Look at the background color, David. Background color is red. So there are three. Now this is where, guys, this is where I turn the auto trail on. Okay. Now if I see it start to retrace, I'm going to move that stop to break even. What I want to see, obviously, is a continuation. Okay. So, oh, golly. Guys, bear with me 1 second. Most of the room is Ninja 8 traders. So I went and had Ninja 8 built out first. I am going back and will build out Ninja 7. And I personally will probably return to Ninja 7 when this is done. I'm also, within a few days, guys, we'll have this built out for Sierra charts. So here's where we are in that trade, fellas. Second target's filled. Windows 7, Wesley. And somebody has suggested that that's possibly the oh, you know what, fellas? The ES filled is short as well. I have a number of users that are trading it. Both targets hit on this 987 tick short. A number of traders, including myself. I trade it live, guys, on the NASDAQ, and I trade it live. Look, there you go, fellas. How's that for a trade? I trade it in crude, and I trade it on the NASDAQ. The only chart I traded on the NASDAQ while I'm in the room, fellas, is the 20 range. I traded on this trade, okay? It's very difficult for me to run the room and trade 15 different instruments, as I'm sure you can imagine. So I do trade it on the 20 range, which give very few trades. It gave this trade this morning, which I took. And it gave this short this afternoon, which I took here. But it is virtually, I don't want to say impossible, but it's very difficult to run a room with 260 members, answer questions, explain trades, et cetera, et cetera. It's a Herculean endeavor. So while I do trade it in the room and I show my trades, I do not trade it across the board. So you ask me if I have any users using it. Anybody that would like to talk to members, if you're sincerely interested and not just looking to talk to members that are trading it live, I will gladly give you a number of names. I have funded traders, fully funded traders, and I have the biggest, the most successful trader in the room is a woman. Some of you may know Phyllis Mykoff. Phyllis has been around for a while, and she has done since August 29th. She bought it August 22nd, traded it in SIM for a month. I do not trade the YM, Mike. She traded in SIM for a week and went live August 29th. Since August 29th, trading look at this, it stopped working again. Seriously. Since August 29th, trading 3 contracts. I mean, this is a wonderful, wonderful program. Trading 3 contracts, Phyllis is up over 60,000 live after fees. Now, let me qualify that. She trades everything. There's nothing she won't trade, including the FDAX. She trades every instrument imaginable gold, crude, copper, natural gas, bonds. Pick an instrument, she'll trade it. As long as she has 2 time frames in her favor, she will trade it. She does trade the DAX as well. Again, there's very few things she does not trade. Now, she does use my settings. One of the things that we have done is, through back testing, is we have identified the best settings so far. Within a matter of days, this is also being built out as a strategy. So for those of you that trade different time frames, maybe you don't like a 15 range. Now you guys can see my main screen. 15 range is my favorite chart, right? But some of you guys may want to trade a 5-minute chart. Some of you guys trade a 3-minute chart, and so on and so forth. So with the strategy, once the strategy is built out, and again, that's within days now, you guys can do back testing on your own, and you can identify on your charts what is the best time frame to trade. What is the best time of day to trade? What might be the best overall, hours, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you guys that have ever done any back testing, you guys will understand. So the bot, let me just bring back this chart. The bot, guys, and I'll show you the delta. So what we've built into this thing is delta. And there we go. So we've built delta into this. And you can see the delta on the bottom. Now, I don't run delta on the smaller time frames because I'm running multiple charts of the same instrument, different time frames. And I have it on my bigger charts. But delta, you can see we get the sell signal here, right? So we get this short signal here. I know that my higher time frames are also in shorts, right? I can see that. They're red, right? But when I get the short, what do I have? I mean, I've got sellers all through here. Now, even if this retraces, I have no interest in a long, and it won't take a long. Here, I'll turn it on. It will not take a long because it would be incongruent with one or more of these time frames. So there are 3 color backgrounds. Red, obviously, is shorts. Green, obviously, is longs. And then there's a white background. And the white background, if a trade fires in a white background like here, the white background denotes the fact that there is one time frame or more, depending on how many you're asking it to correlate to, one time frame or more that are incongruent. So here you get the short signal. But I'm green. I'm only red on one time frame. It won't take that trade, guys. This will only do whatever it is that you ask it to do. So if you ask this thing to trade in the direction of the trend, it will do that. But there are other settings. So over here where I've got trend only, and you can see it says trend only, let's say I only want to take longs. It will only now take longs. I can only take shorts if I check that box. It will only take shorts. What if I want to take all trades? If I put this on all trades, it will disregard your time frames and it will trade up and down. I do not personally run it on all trades. I trade it on trend only. The only time frame that I do run it on all trades is on this 20 range. It doesn't give many trades, but they are generally winners. Again, gave one trade this morning at the open. I took that, and I took this short in here. 2 trades today. That's all it gave. So is there a minimum account size to trade this? So that's ATM. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because whenever Ninja shuts down, it doesn't save the settings, right? So is there a minimum account to trade this? No, I mean that's dependent on you, Dan. I've got let me back up. It depends on how many contracts you're trading, and it depends on how many instruments at any given time you're willing to trade. Now, if you're only trading one instrument at a time, right? Or you're only trading one contract, then you determine that. Generally speaking, it is rare that we're in multiple trades. It does happen, but it's not a commonality. I've got members in the room that are trading one contract, and I've got members in the room that are trading micros with it, right? It performs equally as well. So let me show you, for instance, today, gold. This was gold in the room, up 1370. I mean crude, I'm sorry. Many of you guys trade crude. So here's where we started on crude, right? This is where I turn my bot on with crude, 9 a.m. Eastern. I wait till crude opens. So it takes this trade, right? 902 takes that trade. Whoop, not what I want. Target filled, target filled. Yeah, generally from 9 a.m. until 11:30, Mike. I don't generally run my bots much later than that. Yeah, you can limit the number of active trades at one time. Absolutely, Wesley. So here's the long, fellas, on crude. First trade, winner. Second target to the tick, winner. Again, I want to emphasize the fact that the bot, so people will ask me, what's the average stop? What's the average target? What's the risk to reward ratio? There is no risk to reward ratio. There is no average stop or average target. It's all based on current market volatility. So at different times of the day, your targets and stops may be bigger or smaller. There's no predefined target. So we're not operating with an ATM that says just give me 10 ticks or just give me 8 ticks for a first target. The functionality of the bot is factoring in at the time of execution the current ATR of that particular instrument. Okay, average true range. We are then using a multiple of average true range, right? So if the average true range is 10 and we're using a multiple in the settings of that average true range, and you can see how pretty dang accurate it is. I mean, that comes exactly to the second target, right? So we're a little extended. That's trade one. Here's trade two. It's a short. Okay? Target hit, target hit. Here's a losing trade. It does take this long. Losing trade just before the opening of the market. Losing trade again. Takes that short. Gives you some ticks but doesn't come to target. Does not take that long. Doesn't take this long. Why? It's a white background. Now, one of the things that I teach over and above the current functions of the bot itself, one of the things that I teach is that if the bot doesn't take a trade because one of the time frames is incongruent, when the background bias goes in the favor or the direction of that current move, you can take a manual trade. So if I wanted to execute a long here based on the fact that it gave me the long signal, one of my time frames is incongruent, but on the very next candle I went green, I can take that trade. The bot won't, but I can. So here's another trade. This short. Losing trade. Losing trade. Does not take this. You could manually take it here to targets, but it does take this. Both targets and then some. It does take this. Another losing trade. 6 trades, 3 winners, 3 losers. Will not take this because it's against a green background. It takes this. The bot can't execute it, Todd. But what you can do is if you take a manual trade, you simply click exits on, exits off, and it will set the targets and stops anyways and trail it. You get this short to targets and trail. No trade here, another short. No trade here. Another trade, target, target. Nothing here, nothing there. Doesn't take this, gets this. Takes this, target, takes that, target, takes this, target, target, takes that, target, target. Small loss here, first target here, huge trade here. Another big winner here. But this is what crude did on the day, up 1370. And it just took this, which I didn't have it on at 244 before we came into the room. Guys, any questions on anything so far? Anything that I may not have been clear on, or anything you'd like to have answered? Has anybody in the room ever owned a bot? Anybody ever used a bot, owned a bot? Anybody actually ever made money with a bot? Perfect answer, Paul. Guys, there are some 30,000 bots in existence. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. 30,000. If you go to Striker Securities or some of these other sites, you can see they run them. You can follow them. I don't know why you would. Of the 30,000, it is a very small handful that actually make money consistently. As I said at the onset, there is no other indicator or bot that I'm aware of. Now, I don't know all 30,000, but I surely know the biggest ones out there. Right? So, of the biggest ones out there, Able Systems, some of you guys may be familiar with Able Systems, does not make money consistently. I have members that own it. Blue Wave does not make money at all. Able Systems is priced at $6,000. This has made money consistently, day in and day out. Now, one of the keys to that is trading for instance, I trade the NASDAQ in the room on several different time frames because they don't always give you trades. So for instance, a 500 tick may give you a trade, but you may not get a trade on a Unirenko. In fact, today, I don't know that the Unirenko gave any trades. I watch a Unirenko. No trades. No trade. No trade. Yeah, it gave that short, but that's yesterday. No trades. So I run it and turn it on all the instruments and all the time frames that I trade it because I'm looking for trades. So one of the ways that people have been, incredibly successful with this is they are using it not just on one chart. So as traders, many of us have a favorite time frame, right? 1 minute, 3 minute. Well, what happens if the 3 minutes not giving you any trades? The 1 minute may. They also trade different asset classes. See, if this comes down, it will give a short now. So they trade different asset classes. So they're not only trading just the NASDAQ. They're trading gold, they're trading crude, the usual suspects. This week, just to give you some numbers, The ES is not traded well this week at all. It's marginally green. But the NASDAQ is up huge. Russell is up huge. Crude is up. Well, the last 3 days on crude have been 750 yesterday, 950 Monday, and right now 1370. Does it take losing trades? Yeah, it does. Roke, you asked me about maximum drawdown on any instrument. I don't know. I don't know. And I'll be succinct. I don't care. And I'll tell you why. As one of the guys in the room, Ron Bond, says every day, trust the bot. You've got to trust the bot. This is going to fire another short. You have to trust the bot. Crude is up significantly this week. So is gold. And remember, it's trading both sides, guys. It's not, I sent out an email the other day and I got back a snarly response from somebody that said, well, anybody can make money. The markets are up. Yeah, okay. But I'm not a swing trader. And I'm not in it from 80-50 in the NASDAQ. It's trading both sides, longs and shorts. I am not a position trader. But as far as drawdown, yeah, it's going to take losing trades. Gold today, the first trade was a losing trade in the room. The first trade was a losing trade. Down $450. First trade. It's 15 ticks. That's all it is. It's a 15-tick stop on three contracts. But where did gold end up? Gold finished in the room up 280. And after we left the room, much higher. Again, I let them run, and I generally do not. But much higher. So if you guys are trading smallish accounts, if you're trading $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 accounts, you're not running 3 contracts in gold. You're not running 3 contracts in crude. At least I hope you're not. Mike, Eastern Standard Time, and I open the room at 8 and generally close 12:30. That's not hard and fast. There are many days when I've stayed until 4. So I've always had a policy, for those of you guys that know me. If I'm green and the room, I took 4 trades today in the room based on order flow, non-bot trades, right? So the room is comprised of the bot, which I do not count the daily totals. The bot totals do not count in my permanent record. Only the trades that I suggest based on order flow, which is what I trade and what I've taught. We closed up 645 on 4 trades. If I had somebody in the room that was red, and I ask every day, is anybody down? If somebody is down live money, I don't care about sim. If somebody is down real money, I will never close the room. I will not let somebody leave red. Let me say this. I will do everything in my power to find ticks for people in the room that may be down, right? So if that means I've got to stay till 4 o'clock, I'll stay till 4 o'clock. That generally does not happen. David is in the room. He's not a member. He was at one point. He can attest to that. You guys can't see the chat, another David just said agreed. And I do have members in the room. And David T, who lives in Nashville, right? Nashville, said he attests to that. I will not let people leave red if I can help it, guys. I do everything in my power for people to make money. So my room, I show the bot, I explain the trades. I have roughly 260 members. I have 230. Here's another short. See how they now set themselves? So the bot overrides your current ATM. If your ATM is 100 tick target and 100 tick stop, the bot will ignore your settings and it will correctly place the stops and the targets. Now we are 341. We are coming into the close. So who knows what we get here? You guys know that at 345, the New York Stock Exchange sets their market on close. And generally at 355, yes, sure I can, Matthew. At 355, we generally get a NASDAQ move. Right now, the market on close is 74 million to buy. Small, nothing. So Matthew is asking what these lines are. I assume you mean this dashed line and these other lines. That is not part of the bot. It's an indicator that I could gladly send you guys. That's VWAP, 1 standard deviation, 2 standard, and 3 standard deviations. That's all. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, if the bot didn't configure the stops and targets, guys would be flying blind, and they'd say, okay, well, I don't know what my stop or target should be. What about the moving averages, Matthew? And if you came in late, guys, this bot is assessing moving averages and deltas across a number of time frames, up to and including 4 different time frames, whatever you ask it to do. So if I wanted to know what this was doing on a 15-minute or a 30-minute or an hourly, I can. Now this may give a long signal, right? That would be ignored by the indicator. The indicator would not take a long signal unless those time frames. I mean, I'm just looking at this, but this is potentially what you got here. A little bear flag, right? The indicator ignores your settings. So for instance, if you had a 3-tick stop and a 3-tick target, it would ignore that, and it would correctly place, based on current market volatility, the correct stops and targets. Now, here's one thing the indicator cannot do. So once the trade is entered and once the targets are plotted and the stop is plotted, what the indicator cannot do is reassess current conditions. So if, for instance, if the average true range stopped here, I mean, we came, 2 ticks from target here. If the average true range has changed from the time of entry, the indicator has no way to reassess current market volatility once the trade is entered. Now it's 1 tick from a target. 1 tick. It's literally first tick, first target off. What do? Let's turn trail on. So the trail is on. The auto trail is on. All right, here comes second target. Let's just get this thing out of here. I don't know where this is going. Maybe the low of the day. So this is fully operational, guys. I'm not touching it. You've seen 2 trades in the NASDAQ. First one was a huge winner. This one's a very nice winner. And I haven't done a thing except ask it to trade in the direction of the trend. Right? Anybody have any questions? Anything I haven't covered or anything I've missed? So now I'm getting a little bit of a bid. I had some small buyers here, 69 buyers. This is just a retracement. Hey, Mark. So I'm going to do this, guys. I'm going to turn the trail off for now and go to break even. Whatever happens, I'm at break even. I don't really care. If I want to close the trade, I can close the trade, right? Just hit close. Mark, yeah. So Mark, who is a member, asked a question. Can the bot be run on the same instrument on different time frames? Absolutely, categorically, yes. I actually run it on 4 NASDAQ charts simultaneously live. When a trade triggers, and it's rare, I mean, really incredibly rare that a trade would trigger on 2 separate time frames simultaneously. I've never seen it happen. It doesn't mean it can't. But what I do, for protection is I shut the bot off on the other charts, unless they're nowhere near a trade. Now I can look at it quickly and say, okay, well, we're already in shorts on this. We're already in shorts on that. We're in shorts on everything. I'm in no danger of taking another trade. So we got some small sellers showing up again. But I don't want to give anything back. No, you can run it in multiple accounts, David. I do. I run it in multiple accounts. 2 accounts. I run it in 2. So when I say multiple, 2. All right, so it took me out. First target only. Yeah, okay. Still, it's money in the bank, right? And the ES wouldn't have taken a trade. I've got it off. Crude wouldn't have taken a trade. I have it off. The only one I have on right now, I have gold on. I'm turning it off. There's been no trade since we've started this webinar. So just to kind of recap, you guys just have to be smart enough to turn the bot on and turn it off. That's about it. It's already been programmed. On occasion, we do change settings. That's, yeah, just on the NASDAQ, Todd. It's already been pre-programmed. You don't have to do anything. You basically have to install it and know how to turn it on. Nothing else. And you turn it on and off like that. There's also a warning account, right? So when it's on, you'll know it, right? So you see this border? It's telling me it's on. When it's off, there's no border. So it's almost impossible for you to walk away. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that may give us a trade. It's almost impossible for you to walk away and forget it's on. So there's a warning light in there. There is nothing else, fellas, that is anywhere remotely close to giving a trade. I see nothing. Crude is in shorts already. There's no way we're going to get a trade there. It is 348. We may get a trade. So here's the deal. The NASDAQ very well may give us another short. It could give us a short. Let me leave it on. It could possibly go long. The 750 is turned up, right? So the 750 is turned up. The 9, it can't now give me a trade. Why? Why can this not give me a trade? Because it's already given me the long. I only have one time frame in my favor. Even if that 987 now goes green, the trade's already fired. Right, white background. Thank you, Mike. Exactly. There's no trade here. There's no trade. It cannot take a trade. The only way that this can now take a trade is if this dumps back down. Market on close right now is 74 million to buy. So we're getting a small retracement. The time, still the 1 minute is turned up. You guys can see the 1 minute is now green. Again, it's a counter trend trade. Now my background is green. Let me show you something. Those are my own ATM settings, right? It automatically set on a manual trade to the correct targets. Okay, so this is a manually executed trade using the defined targets based on the bot. Right? My background went green. It's a permissible trade. Now, at 3:50 in the afternoon, who knows what we're going to get, because we're going to get a 355 move. For those of you guys that don't trade late into the day, there is a move every single day at 355 every day. So we got a little bit of a potential bull flag here. Let's see what we get. I will not let this come back all that far, fellas. There is generally, and when I say generally, I mean daily, there is a 355 move every day. We're going long. I don't know how that's so, Payman, but watch it 355. It's 351. This is the stop run. Market on close right now is $904 million to buy. This may take me out, but it's going to go long. $936 million to buy. Market on close. Any of you guys track market on close? I'm going to take this out a little further back. Again, this is not a bot trade. It's not on the chart. I subscribe to a service, Abe. I get the opening imbalance and the closing imbalance. Doesn't mean I'm right. I've been wrong before. God knows. It's 353. I think this is a stop run. Again, this was not a bot trade. This was a me trade. Over $1 billion to buy now, guys. Market on close. This is their little stupid stop run. I hope I make it to 355. This rat dog is going to take me out.
Stop, Phil.
Took me out. Took me out, you little stinker. Watch this go long on the close. It's still in a long, guys. Look at your time frames. This is not a short. Two and a half minutes left. It will not take a short on the indicator. My time frames are green. Two minutes and 10 seconds. You have 1.1 billion to buy. It's coming. I don't want the short. It won't take it. Why won't it take it? It is Todd. It won't take the short. It's already shorted here, but I'm still green. One minute. Let's see if we get a bounce back up. I mean, this happens quick, guys. Right at 355. That's 356. There's no move. Back down to 70 million. Hey, Jeff. I'll send you the recording, Jeff. We're about done here. Once the market closes, I mean, I'll tell you what you missed. You missed 2 bot trades that were big winners. I still got it on, guys. If it won't give me a trade though. It will not give me a trade on the bot. Won't give me a long or well, it may give me a short into the close. There's a possibility. No, it's short here. This would have to come up and then back down to get that 750 to go red. So you see how the bot keeps you out of trades, guys? That last trade was my trade. That was not a bot trade. The bot will only trade as you ask it to trade. If you ask this thing to trade in the direction of the other time frames that you're asking it to monitor, it cannot and will not trade against you unless you ask it to. It will only trade in the direction of the overall move. And here's the bid into the close. Remember, my target was here, 26.75. See, again, my time frames are red. It cannot take a trade. Even if this thing goes up 300 points, there's nothing it can do. So the 750 is gone green, but the 1 minute is green, but the 987 is not green. So just as a recap, guys, this is the only indicator that I am aware of its kind. It is a multi-time frame assessment of delta and moving averages. It can't fire the long because the long went here against a red backdrop. It cannot take that trade. This can go a mile. It would be irrelevant. The whole point of the time frames and the multi-time frame assessment is not to get you every single trade. The whole point of this, guys, is to try to eliminate the losing trades, right? The point of this bot is to overcome people's fear and apprehension of executing a trade, which is common amongst traders, and utterly and completely ignorant of how to clearly identify stops and targets, actual stops and targets. Not, a preset ATM. Here comes that target I had, right? Not a preset, and there it is. Not a preset stop and target. So again, I took it in here. You see how the background went green? It's a permissible manual trade, right? And you would have had your targets as the bot identified them, right? So the purpose of this, guys, is to help traders consistently be profitable by taking the wheel completely out of your hands, avoiding indecision, avoiding taking 10 ticks if you can get 17 ticks, avoiding using the wrong stops and taking yourselves out of trades and not allowing trades to develop. It will only trade in the direction that you ask it to trade. It will not do anything other. It will not just put you willy-nilly in trades. You can set in the timer section, you can set it to turn on and off up to 3 separate times. I don't use that section. I don't use it at all. I turn it on and off as I trade. I'm going to turn this off. I do not use the timer because I don't trade at 3 in the morning or whatever. I have members that do, that want to trade the European session. So they set it to turn on at 3 and off at 5 a.m. Eastern. I have members that want to trade gold at 10 o'clock at night with Asia. That's a trader discretion. There's no hard and fast rule for it. It works on any instrument as long as it has delta and excuse me, moving averages, right? So that's virtually everything. If you do, it is only built currently in its current state, which is virtually complete, for Ninja 8. The Ninja 7 version is not worth, I wouldn't sell it to anybody. I will have it for Sierra charts next week sometime. I'm having it built out for TradeStation, for people that trade equities. And I'm also having it built out for the MT5 platform for those of you guys that may trade Forex. Okay? Currently, if a new wanted to sell and trade, thank you. Yeah, Brian. So if you wanted to so what we've done is we've identified the best settings per instrument by doing manual, laborious back testing manually. Now my programmer is working on the strategy that will be built for this, which will enable people, myself, you, whomever, to back test this thing. I mean, almost infinitum. Yes, it can, Robert. It can work on NinjaTrader 8 for Forex. Yes, it can. Yep. But I've already identified the settings, Brian. And should anybody be interested in purchasing the bot, I do send a manual. There is a manual I've done with it, how to download it, how to import it, download it, put it on a chart, best settings, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So let me talk about where it's at. Non-member pricing, or everybody's pricing on my website, is $21.97. I have been discounting it to $18.97, $1,897. That price will change. I'm having a separate website built for all of these indicators. When I say all of them, I mean for the Ninja, TradeStation, Sierra, etc. Separate name, separate website, and it will be marketed as such. Price will then rise. You can buy it for $18.97. You own it for life. It's yours. You have free upgrades for life, right? So what could be upgraded on this? Well, continuation trades. I'm going to add continuation trades into this. I'm just waiting for my programmer to finish with the strategy, and then we're going to put continuation trades. There are some traders that want to buy pullbacks. The way that this is structured now is it's a market order on the following candle. So I'm going to add pullback entries into this. There will be a setting. You can determine the ticks you want to buy. If after 2 candles it hasn't filled, it will auto cancel that entry. You will not be left with potentially an open market or an open order and shut down your Ninja or walk away and go get something to eat. After 2 candles, if it's not filled, it will cancel. Right? So it'll be a buy or a sell limit opposed to the market on the next candle. Those upgrades, when they're complete, are free. There's no upcharge for that. You can license this on up to Jeffrey, we can go over that stuff. Well, not all charts will fire different trades. Someday, I mean, like the 20 range only took 2 trades today. The Unirenko took none. So if you had your account on those, you would get very few trades. Anybody that purchases the indicator or the bot gets 3 months room access with it. So you'll be a member in the room for the next 3 months. Anybody that has any questions or issues, I do education on Saturdays. I do education and show the trades in the room and explain the trades, right? I mean, there's not much explaining to do. You guys saw 2 bot trades, 2 winners. Pretty much trades itself. But the settings and questions, et cetera, et cetera. You will be added to a member Skype group, of which you will be a permanent member of that Skype group. If after 3 months you'd like to stay in the room, there is a monthly fee and you can stay in the room. Remember, I also offer my trade suggestions based on order flow. So it's not just a bot room, right? Again, the bot totals don't even count in my totals. So if you want to stay after 3 months, you can. Lastly, you will always be a member, permanent member of education. I generally do education Saturday mornings. If you cannot make education on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, those sessions are recorded and they are then sent to everybody. So you will always have the education. I realize people have things to do on Saturday, family, children, spouses. I understand. Thank you, David. All right, my friend. Blue Wave Trading charges a yearly maintenance fee of $995. I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay? I'm going to tell you this, guys. One of my members, several of my members, but one of my members said to me after he bought the bot, he said, Bob, I got to be honest with you. You're not charging enough for this thing. I make money every day. My motive, guys, was not to gouge people. I'm not. Look at, I love trading and I love teaching. And in the 5-6 years that I've taught, many people have difficulty. I teach order flow. Now, we all can look at this candle and say it's green. It must be up, right? Got to be more buyers than sellers in a green candle. Would you agree? Got to be more sellers than buyers in a red candle. We'd all agree on that. But why is it when you put numbers in that candle that somehow discombobulates many people? I mean, it just really throws them through a loop. And in the 5 years or 6 years that I've taught order flow, I have never once charged a person for my time. So if someone came to me and said, look, I'm not getting this, can we do a one-on-one education? Absolutely. Get on Skype, spend 30, 40 minutes. I've never charged for that. If you guys look at my website, Veritas Futures Trading, it is littered with members that have come to my home office and sat next to me for a week. I do not charge for that. I've never charged anybody for that stuff. This was a way for me to simplify my teaching style and my teaching method so that people can trade and make money consistently. I'm not looking to be a billionaire. It's just never been my motive. Those of you guys that know me, and David and some of the other members, David T., David's a Christian. He knows I'm a Christian. My wife and I are Christians. I don't throw that in there for any reason other than I have tried to build something that is fair and affordable to other people and keeping and being congruent with my values and my beliefs. If you guys are interested in owning this and becoming a member, I would love to have you as members. I will send out the video to everybody that attended today. I'll have my sales assistant do it. Will the Sierra build the Sierra build, David, will be identical to this. I might be able to show it to you. If you guys hang on, I might be able to show it to you. Bear with me 1 second. But I will give you guys, you can email me directly for a discounted. You cannot buy it off the website for the $18.97. You have to email me directly. All right, so this is Sierra. It says not connected, and I am unfamiliar with the Sierra. There it goes. Now a chart should come up, right? Are you familiar with this platform? Because I am not. Well, I thought that a saved chart would come up like Ninja. I guess it doesn't. Sorry, David. I can't show it to you. Dan, thank you very much for that. I don't know this platform, guys. I just know that I have a lot of members that want it. So I'm having it built out for Sierra charts. So in any event, if anybody is interested, I at one time had, let me see if I can find it. And I'm sure I still do. Here it is. If anybody is interested, you can email me directly. Okay? Veritas Futures Trading at gmail.com. Guys, does anybody have any questions? Was there anything I was unclear about? Was there anything that I didn't cover? Any questions that you have? Anything, fellas? I sincerely want to thank you guys for sitting in today. Okay, no questions. All right, well, listen, guys, thank you very much. I hope to have you folks as members with me on Monday or even tomorrow in the room. If anybody would like an invoice, you'd like to own the bot, once again, email me directly at my email address. Yeah, that's how I bill, Robert, through PayPal. Yep. All right, fellas, be blessed. You're welcome, Jeffrey. David, you're very welcome. Guys, again, thank you for giving me an hour of your lives. I sincerely appreciate it. If I can help anybody, whether you become a member or buy the bot or not, I am always willing to help. If anybody has any questions or there's an indicator that I have that I own, I'm happy to give it to you guys free of charge. If there's anything you need, just ask. Okay, guys? Be blessed. Have a wonderful day and good trading, guys. Thank you very much.